Hello everyone, and welcome. We made it down to the cabin, but we came down after work, and by the time we got here, we didn't have a whole lot of time before sundown, so we just kicked it into high gear and set up everything. I got the stove set up because it's going to be a little cool tonight, nothing major. I'm just going to light it once just to get the dampness out of there, same as I did last weekend. We've got the cot set up. We're going to spend one last night in the cabin. Tomorrow morning I get up, I have my coffee, relax for just a little bit. Then I'm going to pull out the stove and I'm going to start taking down the tarp. Cabin's coming down. Once the cabin comes down, the tent will fit perfectly in there. And we wanted it for January, February, March, the coldest months of the winter. And the plow doesn't come as far as it used to. We can't get down here. So I just don't see the point in spending money on a new tarp for a cabin that we're not going to use during the months we want to use it. I can still come down here late into the fall when the snow first starts, and I can make it down here after March. Usually early to mid-April I can start coming down here. So when I come down at that point, I'll just shovel out where the cabin is and set up the tent. No skin off my nose. That tent is going to be just as comfortable as that cabin. But now it's getting dark, and it's been a long week. So we're just going to sit and enjoy the fire, have a peaceful evening, and then get up tomorrow and see how much of that we can get down. Morning, everyone. I had a great night's sleep last night. Anne woke up during the night. She was a little cool, so I relit the stove. And when I got up this morning, I put another little fire in there just to keep her warm while she's sleeping. It's not terribly cold, but she sleeps cool to begin with. So I decided I'd light the fire and use the tripod to make the coffee this morning. That way when she gets up, she can come and sit by the fire where it's warm. But it was a good night. We sat by the fire, we chatted. Listened to a little bit of music. Because we came in late last night, I left a cooler of food in the car. But of course that's where the coffee was and my breakfast was. And when I got up I had to hike up to the car and go get our food for the day. I haven't hunted in a long time, but if I'd have had a gun with me today, there was about 5 partridge running around behind the cabin this morning when I got up. And when I walked up to the car, I saw 7 more. We could have easily been having a good snack today. Perfect. Now, if we could just get that water to boil, we could eat. Put some of this in with my oatmeal. And start making the coffee. So far, the plan right now, I'm going to make my coffee, have my breakfast, and then I think I'm going to move the tripod back here behind me, because eventually I want to build a bench for Ann and I to sit on together, and I'll be putting that in the direction where the sawhorse is. That's why it's got to move. Once that's done, I'm going to go and take the tarp off the roof, and then we'll see how much of the cabin we can get down today. And there go the hunters. Not sure if you can hear those shots. Sounds like a 22. Five shots, 6 shots. He must be target shooting. Has to be. Either that or he's a really bad shot. Alright, I'm gonna eat my breakfast. I'll bring you back in a bit. Time for that first cup of liquid awesome. Oh, it smells good. So far this week, the past 3 or 4 days anyway, first thing in the morning the temperatures have been right around 6 or 7 degrees Celsius. It's still not cold. It's cool. It's not cold. But the sleeping bags we're using, it's still our summer bags. So they're very light. I sleep like an oven. I go to sleep, I start to generate heat like crazy. So all I need is a light sleeping bag at this time of year, and I'm good. But being just a little cool like that in the morning, that's why I've got my hoodie on, but the only one I could find was brown. And brown during hunting season, I ain't gonna wear my vest today. Afternoon, we've still been getting 23, 24, 25 degrees Celsius. Warm. Let's drink a bit more coffee. And then we'll go about moving the sawhorse. So we built this sawhorse 2 years ago, and we set it here, and it has been here through 2 winters now. Let's see how well this thing's going to travel. I mean, it's only tied together. Wow, it come out of the ground pretty easy. Perfect. It's got a little bit of a wobble to it, but after 2 years, it's still doing the job. Don't fix what ain't broke. May as well just keep using it. Behind here, you'll see there's a few logs already down there. Once I start taking the cabin down, that's where the logs are going. And then whatever has to get cut up into firewood will get cut up into firewood eventually. Whatever is going to be used for project wood, it's all going to be there. So I can pick through the pieces as I need. So the front part of the tarp right above the window, I had to staple that on just to keep the tarp out of the way so that I could still get light inside the cabin during the day. The rest of the tarp is all just tied down. So I'm going to go over there and start untying as much as I can and saving as much of that paracord as possible. Whatever I can't save, I will cut. It's not a big deal. But we'll see how much of it we can save.
Lucy wants out.
Lucy, I got bad news for you. Once the cabin starts coming down, that's where all the logs are going. I'm gonna bury your treat. You may not be able to get at that one. Once she sees me putting the logs there, she'll go get it.
Oh yeah, gonna eat those.
Oh yeah, those are the good ones.
Not gonna bury those.
Yeah, that's the sweet potato wrapped in duck. That's just going gulp. Kind of like me with bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I have both sides pretty much untied of the brown cover tarp. All that's left is the staples in the front. But I think pulling on those. Oh, there's one little piece of paracord on that corner. Let me check the other corner. I've got both sides untied and the front corners loosened off a little bit. So all that's left is the staples that are up there. So I think the easiest way, I'm going to grab the back corner, pull it up and over the top, and then just give it a yank and yank it right off the cabin. So let's go ahead and get that done. First tarp's off. Now let's go have a look at what that canvas looks like. Oh, tiny hole in the canvas right there. But that's easy enough. I can just sew that up. The rest of it looks pretty good. Except for a little dirty patch right underneath the stove jack, which is where I had a hole cut out of the tarp. So whatever runoff was coming off the upper tarp would come into the hole, and this spot here would get dirty. I can clean that. Good. I'll be able to save this tarp. Now, as you can see, I already had the roof on when I finished the wall, so I can't take that tarp off until I get part of this wall down. Seeing as the front wall went on last, it's going to have to come off first. Okay. I wonder if I can leave this up and just take the few top pieces off so that I could save the tarp. What I may need is my ladder. So here's the ladder that I built. I'm going to use this to get up to the top and cut off some of these top logs because they are holding in the canvas. And my main objective right now is to get that canvas off. Now, unfortunately, these pieces were tied on with just short pieces of paracord. So I won't be able to save any of that. Well, that was easy. This side is undone. Now I'll go undo the other side. I mentioned earlier there was a hole here. Well, it turns out there's one, there's two, and there's a couple of small pinholes. There's also, at the other end of this tarp, another small hole. But I can patch those. I should be able to patch those, no problem. Now, I'm seeing that the top grommets are still tied. I'm going to grab the ladder again, shimmy up and untie those, and then we're going to fold up this tarp and put it away for now. Now, why am I folding this alone? And decided to make a trip up to the car and bring the cots and the overnight stuff that we won't be needing. And I decided I didn't feel like waiting for her to return, so my bad, I'm folding it alone. I was going to pull it completely off the roof and then fold it. But then I thought, what was the point in that? Got a nice flat surface to work on here. It's working out well in my favor. Now I'll be able to save this tarp. I got a couple of holes to patch. And who knows, maybe down the road if I decide to build another cabin, I'm already going to have a canvas tarp with a roof jack in it. First thing I got to do is remove this window. And then I can start taking down the front wall, and then the roof, and then the side walls. But it's time to start cutting it down. So we'll cut here at the post, and then here on the end, this one should be ready to come down. And just like that, the front wall's down. So now we're going to peel off all the little pieces of paracord off these logs. And then we'll carry them down and pile them all up next to the sawhorse. The shorter pieces we're piling here. The longer pieces are going just over here, and the sawhorse is right here. So whatever pieces I need, whatever we need to cut, the wood's close by. Now we have to start removing part of the front here. The last part that I had built to extend like 1.5 feet. So we'll just cut the bottom and then cut along the top on the inside right here. I think we should do part of the walls just about halfway down, and then start taking apart the roof. I think before we go too far, we'll clean up these logs, and then we'll start taking off the roof. The logs that are right above where the stove jack was are the shortest logs. So I think we're going to start with those, which is this one here. So let's cut these. Okay, I think I got all those top ones done. lot of bits of paracord to pick up. Final part.
Okay. I'll pick up that.
Last little round of paracord pickup. And then clear some of this moss out of here. Whew. Then I'm going to have to move all those big rocks that I carried in here.
He has to move the big rocks. I'll pick up the paracord.
But that'll give us a big enough area to put the tent in. And because of the gravel that I put on the ground to level out the floor a little bit, we'll have a good spot to set our hammocks. Set the wood, or our hammocks. We're not sleeping on our hammocks in the tent. We'll be able to put the cots in the tent and have a nice little spot for the wood stove. Should be nice and cozy. Might be hard to get around though, because it'll just barely fit in this clearing. If I do it right, I'll have a door on each side. We can just walk in and out.
Exactly. You need to go there, walk out there. You need to go there, walk out there. It'll be fine.
Well, the way the cots are set up, we'd have to jump over one of the cots to get out one of the doors, but...
Like we've never done that before. Okay.
We will figure it out.
We will.
Better idea. Bring everything in, set up the tent, don't leave.
Unfortunately, we gotta work.
So all that's left to clear the area is to get rid of all these rocks. But they don't need to go far. They just need to not be in the way of the tent. So as long as I get it past this tree here, I think I'm okay. So what I want to do is try and get them closer to the woodshed so that they're out of the way, because our trail to come in is right here. So as long as I cross that trail, I'm a happy camper. Save the lightest one for last. Out of the way and off the trail. Now it's just a little bit of moss to move and that'll be it. Now I'm just going to take the tarp and just go over the mound here. There's a big mossy area back there. I'll just throw it on top of all that moss. So here's our little pile of short pieces. And those are so short, that's probably all going to be cut into firewood. Here's our pile of longer pieces. Some of it will be firewood. Some of it will go towards other projects that I want to do around here. Oh, that's a lot of wood. For sale, one bushcraft cabin by IKEA, slightly used, paracord sold separately. It was a lot of work to build. It was a lot of fun to build. It was just a few hours to take down. But now it's done. We've got a nice spot over there. Should be just big enough for the tent. Everything else is staying the way it is. Like I said, eventually I want to build a bench over there with some type of a roof over it. Not a permanent roof, just something I can throw a tarp over when we come down. That way if it's raining, we're not stuck hiding in the tent. If it's snowing, we're not stuck hiding in the tent. We can sit under the tarp by the fire and be comfortable. Whew, so that was a big day. But the cabin's down. We had originally planned on staying long enough to have supper and stay for a while after, but we're both tired. I think we're just going to pack up, head on out of here, and have supper when we get home. Oh. But now we're going to have a great spot to set up the tent. Can't wait till it gets a little colder so we can come down and try it. And we'll have plenty of firewood for a long time. And lots of wood for a couple of projects. Should get interesting. So if you liked what you saw, go ahead and hit the like button. If you want to see more of it, hit the subscribe button. And if you're going to do that, may as well hit the notification bell. There'll be a drop-down menu, select all. That'll let you know whenever we put out a new video. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.